maybe 1% of all the Baptist pastors in America could even understand your book, Eden.
Well, that was one thing when I started doing my research, that I did not say I have a certain way that I believe. My intent was to take the Bible and to be able to find out. Whatever I found out, I was willing to accept. The only thing that my guideline was is that I want to know the truth.
Hi, this is my latest book that I'm signing today. Hi, this is my latest book that I'm signing today. Hi, latest book. How are you? Thank you. This is my latest book that I'm signing today. This is my latest book that I'm signing today.
This is Zen Garcia with FallenAngels.tv, and we are here with Dr. Joye Jeffries Pugh. Dr. Joye is a poet as well and has, you have several anthologies. I know you have
Yes.
one called The Colors of Joy.
Yes, and that actually it was the first book that I had that was actually published by a very good friend of mine right after high school. So it's a limited edition and not available really unless you order it directly through me.
Okay. And Dr. Joye is here. She's going to be doing a book signing. We're at Borders Bookstore on, she has two books out, one called Antichrist, the Cloned Image of Christ, and then Eden, the Knowledge of Good and Evil, 666, which we're going to be discussing several of the topics that she covers in both of her books. Do you believe as a Christian that it is necessary to study the extra-biblical text to gain a complete accounting of our ancient past?
Yes, I think it's very important for us to look at all aspects of what is written totally. Now, I do have a concern about people who may delve into some of the Gnostic texts, because when you deal into things that are a little bit in the esoteric realm, if you're not careful, you'll fall victim to what I call paganism as it's leached itself into Christianity.
Absolutely.
So it's most important that when you do any type of research, that you put on the whole armor of God from the Word, which is only through the Bible.
Absolutely.
And from that point, you take your research further. I don't encourage people to do the research into satanic works unless they know that they are a Christian and
Right.
do not doubt it.
Right.
And then if you do feel comfortable, that you feel led, that you want to take those extra steps and find out what I call what the other side is up to, I think it's really important if you want to have that extra level of knowledge.
Right. But you can easily be manipulated, so you definitely have to have your faith, your
Ground.
foundation
Yes.
grounded. Absolutely.
Yes.
Because I know a lot with the New Age teachings that are out there. They teach you that you can become the Christ. You can
right.
evolve to become the Christ, and a lot of the is disinformation.
Yes.
Even though some of the New Age teachings, they may have 90% truth, it's that 10% that is disinformation that can cause
Sway
you
you.
to lose your soul.
And we saw a lot of that happen when Dan Brown did the Da Vinci Code.
Right.
And there were a lot of Christians started questioning their faith by what he was bringing up instead of being grounded in what they knew, and then trying to understand what he was bringing to the table, which I think in a way was kind of a little bit of a hidden knowledge, and if you do the research on it, then you'll find out. And my books are really about trying to find out what's being put up in front of us and how much are we accepting as truth.
Absolutely.
Mixed in with a little deception.
Absolutely. Do you think that with the Dan Brown books, that they are trying to establish that Christ has a lineage here, because they are going to bring the Antichrist, or try to bring the Antichrist through the Merovingian line?
Definitely. And my books actually show you how they're going to do that. I make it very well open and straightforward. I don't do the dance around with fake characters or maybe a little bit of a disinformation in. I actually tell you the truth, how they're going to do it, and I give you the names.
Excellent, excellent. We'll go into that a little bit further as well. Do you believe that there was a period of time between when the fallen angels were banished to the earth and the creation of Adam on the sixth day?
I do believe that something had already happened that had caused the division. Now, what type of division had occurred? We do know that I feel like that there was a great problem between Satan wanting to be the kind of the head honcho. And we know from Genesis that he only had 9 stones. And those stones, whatever those stones are, limits his ability to have total understanding of the mind of God, although he would like to have that.
Mhm.
So I think that because he didn't have the capability of the Creator, he used humanity to try to become the Messiah that will come at the end of time.
Mhm.
Because he wants to really replace God. He wants us to worship the
Absolutely.
created
He wants to
instead of
be
the Creator.
worshipped. Right.
That's right.
He wants to exalt his throne above the throne of God. Why do you think that Lucifer fell? And also, what do you think that the fruit symbolized in the Garden of Eden?
Well, Lucifer fell, I fully believe, was a problem of jealousy, of selfishness.
Mhm.
We see that trait from the Garden of Eden all the way through time of any individual that seems to be falling into sin, is that self-image of I want to be God or I want to be God-like. We see that even in New Age
Right.
teachings
The New
right
Age
now,
teachings,
is that
absolutely.
you're going to find the God within and you can become God, and,
Right.
and that's the same thing that he promised Eve in the Garden of Eden.
Exactly.
If
And
you
all the
eat
fallen
of this
angels.
fruit, you will be like God.
Oh, right.
And the intent, I think, for us to fall victim to him was for him to use humanity to get back at God.
Mhm.
I think we are very special to God.
Absolutely.
I think we're more special to God than we really realize how special
Right,
we are.
right.
For him to want to try to put us out of the way. If he had really cared about Eve, he'd have said, you better go eat of the tree of life
Mhm.
and stay with that if you want to live forever.
Right,
But
right.
instead, he wanted us to have that, what I call forbidden fruit. And I use an apple in my book because I'm an educator, to symbolize
Right,
knowledge. But
right.
what it was that he asked her to bite of a bit of knowledge,
Mhm.
that in that knowledge was actually the end of the age.
Right, right. Also, do you think that the fruit in any way symbolizes an act of sexual lust? I'm not sure if you, because the reason I bring this up is when you study Genesis and if you look at the fruit as being symbolic of an act of sexual lust, then would it be possible that Eve in the garden mated with Lucifer and became pregnant, and because she became pregnant, she was impregnated with Cain, who became the firstborn child of not of Adam, but of the devil, and that's why he became the first liar, the first deceiver, the first murderer.
Yes, I do believe that totally, and my book really does show that that is what occurred. I think it was very difficult being a Christian and growing up as a Christian to really deal with the fact that there was something that really did transpire. But in Genesis it does specifically say that she makes the comment that she got Cain from the Lord.
Right.
She does not act like she got it with, Cain came through Adam. It was from the Lord. And then it says she bare again, and that it was Adam's son, Abel. And for some reason Cain felt like he did not have to give his first fruits to what we know as Jehovah, or the Creator.
Right.
So he felt obligated to be selfish. And like you say, when Abel did what he did, Cain was jealous of that. That's another sin of, the trait of sin, and he killed him. From that lineage of Cain that we know was marked, and it went off into that far country, then all the lineage from him became what I call builders. They knew the sciences. They had access to information that Seth's lineage was actually kept from.
Right.
And I fully believe that that is the lineage in which the fallen angels came upon the daughters of men. And we talk about the Nephilim and the giants that specifically are in the
Right.
Bible, the watchers of mankind.
Right.
That is the reason the flood occurred, was
Right.
to rid the earth of that problem.
Right, and to renew the genetic line through Noah.
That's right.
Right.
And I take that lineage from Seth all the way through my book, and the lineage all the way from Cain.
Right.
And I do show through my research that the way that information crossed over through the flood was through Ham. And we know that Noah cursed Ham. That
Right.
there is some information out there that allows me to believe that the act in which occurred with him and his father, or maybe it was a stepfather or whatever, involved some kind of sexual act.
Homosexuality.
And when he did, he cursed him. And that lineage, I believe, came down from the mountains of Ararat and that the hidden mysteries and knowledge that was given to the Canaanite lineage was actually on another boat that sank. And if we go back to the Epic of Gilgamesh, we find in that there was Zoroaster, and they had a boat with the seeds or knowledge on it. And I do believe that Ham became Hermes Toth, and that he was the educator of mankind with the sages that came into the Sumerian civilization.